Hello there ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's Alexander Hilly123 here and it's time for a new video. And as you can see from the title, today's time for my Callisto Protocol Contagion Difficulty commentary walkthrough. Just want to say a few words before the video actually begins, the walkthrough actually begins. Skip to 5 minutes into the video, that's when you can see the gameplay start. But we always just have a little conversation, ladies and gentlemen, and a discussion before things kick off. I want to say first of all, this is an 8 video project. There are 8 chapters altogether in this game, and there's going to be 1 video per chapter. This is post commentary, not live commentary. Initially, many months ago, I did say I'd bring this to the channel as a live comms project, but I've decided to do post comms because this is a permadeath difficulty. When you die, you go back to the start of each chapter, and in this game, you can die very easily and very quickly indeed. This game has been criticised for its gameplay being very simplistic and has been criticised in many ways. I was absolutely monumentally hyped before release of this game, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a subscriber of mine and you remember what it was like when this game was announced back in, I think it was 2020, up until its release, I was mega hyped. Obviously the director, Mr. Glenn Schofield, Mr. Dead Space 1 himself, was at the helm in terms of being the director of the game, and the game came out, it was a disaster on release, they lied to the fans in many ways. What do I not like about this game? There's a real lack of lore. The gameplay is simplistic and clunky and heavy. Paid DLC, if you want to play Contagion like I'm doing, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for hardcore, which is basically just very minimal loot drops. You've got to pay for the raid mode. The achievement list is quite exploitive as well of the gamer, meaning you've got to complete it and then complete it again in New Game Plus and then upgrade everything. And I know that that's par for the course with a lot of these games, but trust me, have a look at the achievement list. If you've never seen it, it is very exploitive, and they expect you to play the game again and again and again and again and again because there's a lack of content, and they knew that. And yeah, like I say, audio logs on release, you couldn't walk around and listen to the logs, you had to stay still and listen to them. They're very limited. There's not much lore in the game at all in this new universe, which could have become a series, and it never will be now because the game was panned on release. And I think the hate has become a little bit over the top. I don't dislike this game. I do quite like it, but it is very heavy, very clunky, and its mechanics just beg a belief at times. We'll speak about this kind of thing as we go on, but look at the game. I mean, it looks beautiful. The voice acting's good. The art style and some of the locales are really good. Some of the enemy designs are good. I like this game. I still think this is a good game. I don't think it's a great game. There are things I like about it. With a lot of my favourite games, I always say, oh, I'll repeat play this once every 6 months, once every 9 months. This will be a once a year game for me, but ladies and gentlemen, spoilers incoming, but I just bought a PS motherfucking 5, and you know how much this game costs? £10. You can get it for a tenner. So we're playing the Xbox Series X version today, but I'm going to get this on PlayStation 5 because the Platinum is actually really fun. It's just pretty much a disgrace that you have to pay money to get the true ending of the game and all the other DLC difficulties. So that's the thing, if you don't pay for the DLC, and you can see it there at the top as the game begins, downloadable content. This is a downloadable content difficulty. It's just permadeath, that's all it is. And I like permadeath, like Dead Space 2, where you decide where your saves go. You know, you've got 5 saves and you decide when to make them. This game, though, you just go back to the start of the chapter every time you die, and there are quite a few cheeky insta-kill moments, usually at the end of the chapters. And I'm not going to pull the wool over anyone's eyes here, ladies and gentlemen. There were a few times when I did die on Contagion difficulty. I think there are moments in this game where you're quite simply meant to die, where the game is basically saying fuck you. That's what the devs are saying. But as you can see, there's dismemberment mode as well. That's like a one-hit kill difficulty where you kill the enemies once. Bit of a power trip. Yeah, you can't quit the game, otherwise you'll lose your progress. Now there is a way you can cheat the game with the cloud saves, but I can't be arsed with any of that shit. But the thing is as well with permadeath, it makes you play differently, it makes you doubt yourself, and it's nerve-wracking and unsettling. And that psychology is really interesting in games, but I'm not that keen on permadeath. But what I would say is this game on hardcore is harder than Contagion, but I didn't want to bring it to the channel. This is the first video, ladies and gentlemen. This is the introduction plus cargo. Once cargo ends, the video will end. This is a really short introduction chapter. And then the next video, I think, is called Aftermath. That'll be a lot longer. That's when the gameplay properly begins. Lost my train of thought now. But yeah, as you can see, I did say many months ago when I was talking about the Dead Space remake, I think this game looks better than the Dead Space remake, personally. And the aesthetics really nice. But the walking speed of Jacob in this game, there are a few times during certain scenes where the game lets you move faster, but there's a lot of growth on the ground in this game, just like there is in certain levels of Dead Space, which slow you down. But with Dead Space, it's doing it because, oh, here's the growth. Isaac can't run for it. In this game, it's just like, yeah, we're going to slow you down because we can. That's what it's like, this game. And it's like, why are you doing this? And the amount of vents that you've got to crawl through, the gaps you've got to go through, the amount of downtime. On release, ladies and gentlemen, you couldn't skip cutscenes on this game. They expect people to do a permadeath difficulty where you can't skip cutscenes. And then about 6 months or so after release, it's like, yep, you can skip cutscenes now. It's like, I'm not a dev. I don't understand video game development. But why couldn't they have allowed people to skip cutscenes when the game released? I do not know. But yeah, Glenn Schofield, I think, has now left. He jumped ship as soon as this game shit the bed. They were taking on new employees at the company around about the time just before the game released, and apparently there is going to be a new game, but I'm going to call it now. The next game the devs of this game will do will be a co-op multiplayer shooter. Because they've all got to do it, haven't they? Single player is dying, people. Doesn't matter what game you come up with. It's dying. Physical is dying. Console gaming is dying. Gaming is dying. But in happier news, we're crawling. This kind of reminds me of Resi 6 when Leon's crawling up the plane. I've actually got a highlight of that on my YouTube and my Twitch many years ago. My first ever play for Resi 6. The abomination that it is. But like I say, I think the hate for this game has gone over the top. It's not a great game, but there are still things I like about it. The gameplay is meaty and killing the enemies is fun. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like I say, I'm not the best player of this game. It's quite peculiar how simplistic this game manages to be, but at times I struggle with its combat. Man's coming in. Shit. Ladies and gentlemen, spoilers, but Max didn't survive the journey. Later in the year, I'm going to bring the DLC to the channel. That's another kettle of fish, the DLC. Jesus. Not as a walkthrough, though. Just like what I did with Dead Space 3. Just record it, normal difficulty. One video. I think there's 2 chapters for the DLC, so it'll just be 2 videos altogether. That'll be that. Guys, I'll see you in Outbreak.